I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic, and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans. And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field. Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne, on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
All right, what's going on? It is the 26th of November. Hold on a little smudge. There we go.
It's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mama. How are
Mama
you,
Blum?
Bloom?
I'm good. I didn't know I'd have to be up preparing for a basketball game here at noon on a Wednesday, but here we are.
So it's like 10 a.m. in Vegas?
Yeah. Welcome back, by the way.
Thanks. No, it's good to be back. I had a great trip, a couple of awesome games. A lot of great Cyclones out there, great crowd. A lot of our people, a lot of the fanatics have flooded into Las Vegas, as I knew they would. We've talked about it all the time. These Thanksgiving tournaments are always in my opinion, the best bang for your buck as a fan.
Yeah, access-wise and just being kind of close to it. It's really good now. This tournament has taken a turn in a weird direction, but I'm sure we'll discuss here briefly.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. Full disclosure, because this is always one of our highest listened to shows of the year because of Thanksgiving travel. And we're in a tricky spot because it's 9 o'clock. The game tips off in 3 hours. So we are going to quite loosely talk about basketball to keep from dating this thing too much for the travelers. So this will be a heavy football show.
Sure.
Jake, Brent, and I will be on at 11:30 for pregame for Cyclone Basketball, Carl Chevrolet pregame show. All across Cyclone Fanatic social media, you guys know how to watch. Of course, we'll be on to react to the game immediately after it happens. We are going to touch on it here because I, like you, my phone is just on fire with people who don't understand how this tournament works, and quite frankly, I don't even think I really understand how it works. It is what it is. We'll get to that and really dive into the final regular season game for Cyclone football. We are in the Northwest Bank Studios. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Mechdyne. MECHDYNE, enabling discovery. Go to mechdyne.com. Go to their job board. They love hiring Iowa Staters. First and foremost, great start. It doesn't even matter what happens today. This was a successful Las Vegas tournament for Iowa State. We said the goal was 2-1. To get that St. John's win, and then all things considered with Lipsy going down, and to get really just dismantle Creighton, who I don't think they're very good, but
they have issues for sure.
They're not very good, dude. I was talking to some people, I was talking to some St. John's people the night before, and I also talked to some Creighton people, and the whole vibe is that Creighton's maybe not even a tournament team this year, but we'll see. We'll see if they come
got a long way to go. And
I mean, Owen Freeman was like a shell of himself, coming off of that injury. He was gassed. Plato was beating him up.
They just looked slow and unathletic to me, which is going to be a problem in that.
They don't look like they have dudes.
No.
Look at the St.
The Green
John's
kid's
players.
really good. The Green kid's really good, but yeah.
But I'm just saying, look at their bodies compared to St. John's. It was a total mismatch by Iowa State's two opponents.
Yeah, and so good reminder to not overreact to exhibition games.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to throw that snarky tweet out, but I held off.
did. But
We're all you people who were telling me how bad the Cyclones are a month ago. Where are you at now?
But I think the growth. I think So Creighton's going to have an interesting season. So less about them, more about how much Iowa State's gotten better since that exhibition game.
Very much. So.
And particularly Torre, again, was unbelievable. I mean, this guy's trajectory is on an unreal level right now. And it was fun for me to see him start to get some national recognition, the way he's played. And to do what he does defensively every single possession is incredible. I think he's a top all Big 12 defender already 10 games into his Iowa State career. And his offensive game's only getting better.
Somebody, I don't remember who I was sitting with a big group. Somebody said to me, he's the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, I mean, just from seeing it and even in practice, like he's been doing that. Again, we kind of referenced it all this summer. Like, this guy's been really good. And then he's slowly getting better. He's getting better. And so fun for him. I thought Buchanan had a great 2 games, which was exciting to see. You can really see the pieces fitting together of what Iowa State wants to do. And when Momcilovic plays that comfortably, I mean, it's no surprise that the TNT people or the True TV people, whoever's doing the game, multiple times they've referenced Iowa State in the Final Four. That's not you and me saying that.
Yeah,
that's the TV people. I mean, if you look at Iowa State, you've watched a lot of basketball, as we're all going to do this week. Iowa State has just as many pieces as about anybody. And so, again, this game, obviously you want to beat Syracuse, and this will be dated when most people listen to this. However, definitely a success from the eye test as well as the metrics of Iowa State winning 2 really important games that'll look good come March.
We need to point out with Syracuse, too, I know that they've lost their 2 games here, but they went to overtime with Houston, and they played Kansas tough. So this is a good team. This isn't
Chicago State.
This isn't Chaminade
right.
in Maui, who Iowa State gets today at noon. Again, Jake and I will have pregame at 11:30. But let's get into this how this thing works. You have a better understanding than I do. So why isn't Iowa State playing in a championship? Or it really is stupid. It's not really like a normal tournament. It's hard to wrap your mind around because it's so unnatural. But give us the skinny Bloom.
Yeah, so let's just get in the nuts and bolts of the tournament, and I might go on a rant here about the direction of college sports. So bear with me because we've kind of done this. We've kind of done this to ourselves.
No, we absolutely have done this to ourselves.
So when you have 18 teams in a tournament, it's just going to be hard to put the pieces together. And there was also some stipulations in there that they didn't want conference teams playing within that tournament. And so it makes it really hard when you've got these teams like Kansas and Houston and Iowa State all kind of in the same group. Like, where do you put them? And so Iowa State got completely squeezed out of this. And then the other question is, they rank, first tiebreaker is what you do for your record is Iowa State's 2-0, but so are 4 other teams? And then they do margin of victory, and Iowa State beat its 2 opponents by 19 points, which was, unfortunately below the rest of them. And therefore, Iowa State doesn't get a play in the championship game or the consolation game. And the problem, C-Dub, is only those 2 games get paid out for the extra pool of funding, which is super frustrating because it seems very random, and it is. Like that. And then the question is, why does Iowa State playing at noon? Well, they can't have the teams that played last night at midnight turn around and play at noon. I mean, so I think Iowa State kind of had an idea it was going to play at this time frame anyway. It did not know it was going to get Syracuse. And so to turn around like that against a weird Syracuse team is frustrating. But Syracuse is feeling the same way, having to turn around and play Iowa State. But big picture, C-Dub, when you're dealing with this event, and you do it because of the money, unfortunately, as Jamie Pollard likes to say, those who have the gold set the rules. And this Players Era tournament, they set the rules, and this was their system. And just to kind of give people a heads up of how the money actually works here, every team gets $1 million for going to their NIL pot. So Iowa State has already received that and put that in the basketball budget for revenue sharing for the season. All right, so it is part of that 20.5. Iowa State counted on that $1 million because they knew where they're playing in this tournament as part of Iowa State's rev share of $20.5 million. Therefore, the basketball team has already gotten that money. It is in their contracts through the university revenue share. So I guess on this standpoint, like that money has already been accounted for and spent. Now, the extra money that if Iowa State, and they're not going to get it now because they're not playing in the championship game or the consolation game. That extra money, so the winner of this thing gets $1 million, second place gets $500, third place gets $300, fourth place gets $200,000 extra. So most schools, CW, are going to distribute that to the players on this current roster. Iowa State is going to take that money and earmark it for next year's basketball budget, essentially. So technically, these guys aren't out money that are on this year's roster. And, whether you agree with that philosophy or not, Iowa State was going to use that money for next year anyway. So, yes, technically Iowa State is not going to get the at least $200,000 that those other four are going to get. But that was going to go into next year's budget anyway. But it is extra frustrating as the NIL guy when we were scrapping and clawing to get every single penny. Just to give you guys some reference here, in the 2 years of Ames Lager, the collective, our NIL fund, has gotten about $200,000 from Ames Lager. So if you think about all of the Ames Lager we've all had to consume,
and all the marketing time we've spent on this show promoting that, and
yes, exactly,
it's really frustrating.
And so you have literally a layup that St. John's made at the end of the game that was all of that Ames Lager and one. I mean, that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. So it's very frustrating, but at the same time, when you're in this sport, C-Dub, and we talked about it for years, it's the same thing with TV. When you make yourself a financial and a revenue and a TV product, well, you're at their terms.
Well,
and here we are.
It sucks for Iowa State, but I don't really have a lot of sympathy. This could have happened this way to anybody.
Yeah,
it's not a scam. It's not.
It's a weird. There was
no setup.
It's a stupid setup. But you took the money, and this is when you take the money, you're at their terms.
This is like when the Pac-12 was bitching about having their late kickoffs and stuff like that.
It's like, similar. Well, it's just it's frustrating because it seemed very arbitrary, and it was. And then, quite frankly, I don't blame him. But TJ, Iowa State dribbled the clock out at the end of the Creighton game. You score a basket there, and you got at least $200,000 more in the athletics budget. So. Yeah. But
but when you're in the moment, you're not thinking like, oh, let's run up the score on one of my best friends.
Correct.
Correct.
Did you guys see Kansas just started chucking at the end yesterday?
I did.
Against Syracuse. I saw someone tweeted a side-by-side video of what Kansas did with 12 seconds left versus what Iowa State did.
I mean, I could make the argument that they did it right. I mean, you know what you're playing in. You know what the rules are. Kansas at that point had already seen what they had to get to. Do you want to make the extra $1 million or not? Who can fault them?
I don't at all, and I don't fault Iowa State necessarily for dribbling the clock out either. They were at a disadvantage for playing the early game.
That's what I was just going to say. They didn't know.
They didn't know
at that point, and only winning by a point the day before. You're kind of like it's probably a long shot.
Anyway, yeah. It's just this tournament was never going to make logical sense anyway, and it's expanding next year. Do you trust the people who are literally in it for the revenue to make sure it's fair? That's called sports right now. What do we care about? Do we care about fairness or do we care about making more money, guys? What are we caring about now? I think you all know that answer.
It is the world. That we can get into this more maybe on Sunday night. This just screams to me because I see what's happening here. And the Big 12 had the big investment thing in this tournament, which actually I think is really smart. But what's going to happen here, I'm telling you, this is where it's going to go. This is the next conversation that everybody's going to be having a year from now, is now all these Big 12 teams are going to be playing half their non-con in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And any game that's worth a damn is going to be being played in this tournament, which – on the surface is great. You're making extra revenue. You are, by all means, helping your net rating. You're bumping up your KenPom, all that stuff, which is great. The problem will be the fans who have season tickets are not going to have. I mean, the home schedule sucks anyways now.
Great point.
Like in the non-con.
Yep.
Any game that's worth a damn is going to be played in Las Vegas for any of these good Big 12 schools. And again, it is what it is. What, are you going to take the money? I think you'll take the money, right? If somebody's going to give you $1 million, it'll probably go up because the Big 12 owns part of this tournament or whatever now. But there's always unintended consequences, and that's where this will go. I promise you. That's the next part of this conversation.
Welcome to college sports.
Yeah.
Like every day, it's something different. Like, what do we do? Like, it's just illogical, and it gets tiresome. It's like it's exhausting.
Oh wait, and then I about promise you, there's something in this deal about getting a Big 12 tournament to Las Vegas in the future.
I mean, with your market, would it surprise anybody?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, couldn't you see this in this conversation where they're on this players? Like, there's got to be a caveat at some point. I would think. I don't know anything. It felt like they were going that direction anyways at some point with the media day and all that stuff.
I do think it's interesting. Your mark is out there, and among that announcement, but I will give this tournament credit. I do think TNT, Turner, that group has done a really nice job of presentation with it. So it's clear the Big 12 wants to be the basketball conference with this stuff, and I think it's a smart way to do that.
Absolutely, I think it's really smart.
But to your point, who's going to get shortchanged in this? The home fans. They just are. I mean, we keep doing this to ourselves, and then we look and go, why did that happen? It's like, well,
why aren't they buying their tickets anymore? The donation levels went down.
Right.
Because you keep screwing the fans at every turn. There's not a lot of people that can just go and hang out in Vegas for 3 weeks this thing's going to be in the future.
I understand you have to take the revenue, and again, but when you do that, you're at the mercy of an unfair system, and that's called sports right now. It's a beautiful game.
The other thing too and then we got to move on.
Yeah.
At least we're just talking big picture here, unless we're not really dating ourselves.
The problem. This is legit financial ramifications on Iowa State's budget.
Which is frustrating.
Yeah.
It's kind of that old conversation. Like there's some sort of data that's out there of like a person makes X amount of money. Once you get to a certain level of how much money you make, it doesn't really matter if you make more, like about your quality of life. But if you're living in poverty, it's like if you get a $10,000 bonus, it changes your life dramatically. And that's kind of how it is for Iowa State compared to some of the, I spent a lot of time out there because I know if you look at all the teams that were out there, it's where I have connections. I spent a lot of time with people in the Big East this week in Vegas, and it is a different world that they are. If I could buy stock, if I'm your mark right now, I'm setting up a scheduling deal with the Big East where I'm serious, and fans would hate this. This is where the money would be. If Turner wants to invest in college basketball, if you want to be the NBA for them, you do a deal every Monday night, 8 o'clock. We're going up against Big Monday. It's going to be a Big East team versus a Big 12 team.
Super smart.
Because the schedules don't matter anyways. The leagues are too big anyways. It doesn't matter. Like, none of that matters anymore. These Big East teams, they have unlimited spending. They can do whatever they want.
At least up to $21 million per year.
Bullshit. It's higher than that.
I know. It's amazing Iowa State. That's why it's cool Iowa State beat two Big East teams, by the way.
But I'm telling you, if I could buy stock in it, it's that Big East. Like they are going to be a monster.
Totally agree.
In this new world.
Totally agree. And because again, the SEC has to spend most of its money, and it's another conversation. We'll shift into football here. They have to spend their money on football.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a problem. So again, it's frustrating, but in the larger context, team. So Iowa State's budget, athletics budget next year is going to be around $115, $120 million. So yeah, do the math. What's $200,000 in that? Okay, I mean it's not a small amount, but I guess the good news, if there is any, and I don't think this is necessarily good because I don't necessarily agree with it, is the athletes from this year's roster would not have gotten that extra money anyway.
I always put it this way. It's like I do this internally. It's like, oh, I just saved $50 on something. That's a tank of gas. Or like, okay, well, 200,000. What's that? Like a backup point guard? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's equate it to that.
Mm-hmm. It's a starting defensive lineman.
Yeah,
not a defensive end. But
so it does matter.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
does matter.
It does matter. I mean, that's what's frustrating. It's like all because of a layup at the end of the St. John's game. But again, when you do this,
fans do not get in. Like the thing sucks. Like, it's a stupid tournament as far as, but this is not like, oh, we're gonna screw Iowa State.
No,
Like
it has nothing to do with that. Somebody was going to get squeezed, and it's Iowa State.
yeah. No matter what happened, there was going to be.
And in the matchups you could not. Again, they didn't want to pair another conference team, and they didn't want those teams that played late last night to turn around and play early this morning. So you're basically kind of stuck with this game all along.
All right, let's thank some of our awesome sponsors, specifically our boys over at the McFarland Clinic. I hope they're good with groins.
How about Doc Greenwald getting recognized at the game? You weren't there, but he got
I knew
honored.
that was going to happen, and I love Doc Greenwald. He means a lot to me. He's
cool.
He's one of my favorite people that I've
well-
come across at
It
Iowa
was
State.
well deserved. Another highlight from Saturday.
Very cool. Yeah. But Dr. Greenwald and Dr. Wormy have supported our programs for a really long time, and we want to do the same. If you guys are, I go to them for my shoulder, and I have other relatives that have had surgeries with them. They do a phenomenal job there at the McFarland Clinic. Let's go to our friends over at Gravitate Co-working. Go to gravitatecoworking.com to check out all of their opportunities for 2026. If you need a spot, if you need a desk, if you need a entire damn office, they got it for you. Gravitate Co-working's all over Des Moines. Also, they got the one lone rural one over in Jefferson. And we want to shout out to Hopewood, hopewoodjd.com, and that's where you can get your will done in a day.
When you don't want to talk about politics or the Players Era tournament at your Thanksgiving table, talk about your wills.
Yeah,
End
I
of the
mean,
day.
absolutely.
We don't want a toxic topic. Let's talk about wills.
The again, we're going to do a big comprehensive basketball breakdown on Sunday night. So let's just move on to football now. This tournament, or excuse me, this Oklahoma State game particularly, I'm not like I'm not afraid Iowa State will lose it. There is the two things here. Oklahoma State has played hard down the stretch, so I think that they will show up. Like they just hired a coach. I think that they will show up ready to fight on Saturday, and I do think that this crowd is going to be horrific. Like, this is going to be 20,000 people in the stands, Arkansas State type atmosphere, and that's hard for a road team. It's just hard. I'm glad the game's at 11. Glad this isn't like one of those sleepy night games that you have to wait around all day for. I think Iowa State's playing really solid football right now, but you could be lulled into sleep here just a little bit, and I think I put it at 27-17. Again, I have Iowa State winning the game, Bloom. I don't think Oklahoma State is very good, but it's a weird, like, they're better on defense than they are on offense. I watched their game because I was at the sports book, and I watched every game last Saturday.
First world problems.
You know, UCF sucks, but Oklahoma State almost beat them. Probably should have beaten them on the road last week in Orlando. So again, like, they're clearly they haven't quit. At least they haven't yet. Maybe this will be the game that they do. What's your feel on this game?
No, it's a great point. So remember, we joked about it because they fired Gundy, and
Yes.
then a week later, Oklahoma State fired the defensive coordinator,
Yes.
Todd Grantham. Well, since then,
Yes.
they've actually been a lot better on defense.
They're good on defense.
So something changed there. So this is
They're better on defense than Kansas was.
absolutely at least the last. I mean, the last 5 games they've given up, or last 4 games, an average of only 340 yards per game total. So that's good. Okay, that's not even average. That is a good defensive. And the hilarious part, okay, I don't want to give you bad vibes, but I'm just presenting facts here. The current interim defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State is Clint Bowen. Does that name ring a bell at all?
Yeah, why does that?
Clint Bowen was the interim head coach when Charlie Weiss got fired in 2014 when
I
Iowa
remember
State
that guy.
went down there.
I remember
And they
that
carried
guy.
off the goalpost when they beat Paul Rhodes in Iowa State.
God, that was one of the worst losses in history.
That was a really bad one. And it wasn't even close. It was like a destruction at the hands of Clint
Yeah.
Bowen. But no, you give him credit. The guy's been better. They've been stopping the run. The last 4 games only averaging about 3.5 yards allowed on the ground. So that shows me that's the effort stat, C-Dub, is run defense. And Oklahoma State's been better there. Offensively, not great, though. They just haven't
they're
been good
bad
all year.
offensive.
The quarterback is back, however. So Flores was out for a little bit. They were playing basically a receiver at quarterback for a couple weeks and couldn't do anything. Well, he came back and didn't exactly do much either. However, yeah, I mean, if this game was played in early October, I think Iowa State wins by 20 plus. The defense has been good enough, though, for Oklahoma State that they're going to try. I just think Iowa State's going to overwhelm them eventually, though. I do.
Yeah, doesn't this feel low scoring?
Well, and I think what Iowa State showed against Kansas is the ball control stuff really worked. And so
but you have to catch the ball and hit a receiver in stride, and like they did that, like, right? They
sure,
didn't
but I
drop
think
it. Rocco was better than he's been in months. Like
they kept it really simple, and I think that's
Yes.
the plan here too. Keep it simple, running at them. Let Carson try and get to 100 yards again. Yeah, I agree. I think this is probably a lower possession game because Oklahoma State doesn't exactly fire it around the yard very well either. So yeah, this one could be done in 3 hours.
Would you?
What's the over under? I didn't even look. Aiden, can you look
I
that
don't
up
know.
for us?
I don't know.
Probably 50,
I guess I'm
50,
just thinking
52?
8-4. Are we still thinking that it's Arizona or bust?
Yeah, and like I talked about Sunday, I just, from what I understand, Iowa State does not want to go to the Liberty Bowl. So the Liberty Bowl picks ahead of the Rate Bowl, which is the Phoenix Bowl. So the Liberty Bowl, I guess, could technically say, well, you're going anyway. The Independence Bowl's kind of out there as well, but it sounds like I would say the Rate Bowl in Phoenix is the significant leader in the clubhouse, regardless of what happens.
Yeah,
on
I just
Saturday.
think that these bulls are all in bed together, anyways.
47 and a half's the over under. That sounds about
It
right.
is not like yesteryear when the Bulls were trying to like jump each other and like get the best matchup. Like they just care about money, and the Liberty Bowl has to know that Iowa State will not travel to that.
And if they didn't know, I think the social media outcry between now and 2 weeks from now will be pretty loud. So Liberty Bowl, if you're listening, again, love Memphis, love your bowl game. You guys do a great
I would
job.
prefer to go to Liberty Bowl.
I just
love
don't
it.
think I think the fans want to try something else other than Memphis or Orlando this year.
Are we still thinking Nebraska? Maybe that'd be fun.
Nebraska is very possible. Northwestern's over there. Washington, I'd say one of those three. And then there's I mean, I haven't looked all the way into it, CETA, but there's a world where it may not even be a Big Ten team. I don't quite understand. I mean, the playoff's going to dictate a lot of who gets jumped where. Because that Rate Bowl is really low in the pecking order, so all those teams could be gone.
Yeah. God. The Big 12's bowl connections are just horrific. They gotta adjust this.
I'll look it up for Sunday when that
Yeah.
when that recalculation is.
All right. Before we get into the Whiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment, again, just a reminder that we will be live at 11:30 today. I also want to remind you about CycloneFanaticShop.com. We have a bunch of new stuff. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. We have a bunch of new stuff up there. Aiden, I believe you have graphics and stuff for this. We've got Black Friday's deals. Nobody's really given me the full information of what we're going to have up there, but I know that we're going to have some Black Friday deals, all that good stuff. And just look at that new hoodie right there.
Woo!
That one's sick, isn't it? I like that one a lot. Marcy did a great job with that.
Good job, Michael.
But you're supporting a bunch of small business. I mean,
That
come on.
sweatshirt is $10 off until December 1st.
There you go.
I think
$10 off.
Everybody, let's go.
Cyclone Fanatic Shop. But remember that for your holiday shopping. We would really, 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 really appreciate it if you could help us and another small business over in Perry that does all of our shipping, all of the printing, all of that stuff. If you guys would think, stay off of the Amazon. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, get off.
Come on.
Bezos doesn't need that money.
I'm pretty anti-Amazon after this book thing, and I realized how that works. It's like, geez. The book will be on Cyclone Fanatic Shop, too. I think they did a wholesale order. So if you want to buy it from there, you're welcome.
What's the moral of the show? Those who have the money set the rules.
That is true. That's the title of the podcast. Those who have the gold.
Set the rules.
Okay, Whiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment. Let's dig right into this thing. Again, like just another blah week. there's just, I don't know. I'm really disappointed in the league this year as far as entertainment factor goes. It just, it has not been good, in my opinion, on a week-to-week basis compared to what we thought it would be. And that's probably a good thing because you got a really dominant team, at least I believe, in Texas Tech. I know they have the one loss, but they, you know, like you pin them up against West Virginia this weekend. That's a 24.5. Look, here's your point spreads for this weekend: 16.5, 14.5, 17.5, 24.5, 11.5. Like you got a bunch of brutal.
I bet
there's a couple other ones, but
I bet in the last 10 years there has not been a Big 12 weekend where every single point spread's in the double digits. To your point,
yeah, like it's just been a very bad year as far as the
just uneven.
Yeah,
which totally separate from last year though. So it's like,
correct.
What are you going to get going forward? I don't know, but it's been odd. And then frustrating yesterday that Utah drops a spot and Miami moves ahead of Utah, all because Utah struggled to beat K-State. It's like now Utah's basically hosed to make the playoff. Now, they were the third best odds anyway relative to BYU and Texas Tech, but I just, the perception battle, you do want top-heavy teams, but we're getting squeezed on both ends right now because it hasn't been very entertaining. And I just, unless there's an upset or two this weekend and next weekend, I feel for BYU. I really do. I don't think they're going to get in.
I mean, if BYU were to beat, let's say BYU takes care of business this week against Mid-Florida.
Mm-hmm. It will.
If they would beat Texas Tech, would Texas Tech still get in?
I think that's probably the best path. Yes.
Yeah. I think they would too at this point.
I think the answer is yes. So, yeah, I mean, there's still a path. I would say it's 60-40. Now, no, but I do think there's a path for two. But back to the bigger conversation, C-Dub. If the Big 12 gets two teams, I mean, I don't know the exact math, but you're talking about
now we're going to Memphis.
Well, not even that. Not even the bowl game wise. You're talking about an extra $1 million for Iowa State's budget. That's a fact. Because
just another proof that there's all these like things happening around here, and you just don't really control any of it.
You're just kind of helpless. But again, you have to participate. Like you got to participate in the playoff. Like you can just pull out. But at the same time, you're talking about two separate events in college sports: college basketball at the Players Era Tournament, the college football playoff, where your literally ability to compete to pay your people is contingent on things outside of your control, which is very frustrating.
All right. Anything in the schedule that interests you? I mean, the Arizona State game will be fun. That's late Friday night.
Yeah, I'm. Arizona's been really impressive lately. I'm glad that game is. And honestly, Kansas, we'll see what they have left in the tank.
I think Utah's going to kill them.
I probably think so too. The way Utah can run it. Yeah, just a weird week again.
Is this Deion Sanders' last game?
I can't imagine he'll be back, but I don't know how they're going to pay him either. I mean, his buyout is unbelievable.
Oh, they can't fire him. I thought maybe he would just quit.
Yeah, but potentially, but he's making $11 million a year to be that. So why would you leave? He just
fleeced those guys, didn't he?
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm glad that hype for the 1 year was really good.
What a downfall! I mean, you go from leading every newscast, Big Noon every week, to now you're just getting pummeled every week. I hate to say we told you so, but
that's when you hire Sizzle over. I mean, it's just you knew that was going to burn out one way or another. Now, was the ride worth it? It made Colorado relevant for a while, and their fans reflected it when we were out there. A lot of ego.
Oh yeah,
they were feeling themselves, but
still can't believe Iowa State lost that game.
Yeah, ultimately, that's why I think we'll see what happens with them. I mean, their AD just went on, basically phase retirement. That's going to be and they're getting less money anyway. The Colorado athletic department's an interesting development piece right now. I don't think they have a lot of stability there.
Yeah, and now you'll see that nobody will just show up again, and
correct.
That's Iowa State's strength. It's the consistency of that. They're always there.
Yes.
And that's where when I look into my little crystal ball in the future, that gives me a lot of optimism for Iowa State, regardless of who's here. It's just as long as the fans are this engaged, you're going to have a shot.
You got it, and that's why I put K-State in that mix, Utah in that mix as well, Texas Tech. Those fans are always going to care, always have cared.
Yeah.
It's why I'd be less bullish on, honestly, Houston, Baylor, TCU. Now, they have money. They're in Texas. I understand that. However, that consistency and support, and Aiden, if you pull up the graphic from Cyclone Football, what, a record this year? 60,500 average fans at Jack Trice, which you just take a step back, Gary Patterson. What a world to now average 60,500, which will be the most in the Big 12. So I totally agree. No matter what happens with the actual coach or resources, when you have Iowa State's fan base, you're always going to have a chance. Always going to have a chance, and that's Iowa State's biggest strength. And why I keep harping on it. We can't keep penalizing the fans with all this stuff either.
No, it's why we led the show the way we did.
Because people are gonna get frustrated, and I totally understand it. Like between TV, everything you have to do, and continue to asks, and then stuff like this Players Era tournament is legitimately unfair. You're gonna just frustrate people, and they're gonna choose other things to do. Now, to the leader of the Players Era tournament, he doesn't care about that. But if you think about the health of college sports in the long term, all these little things will add up in time. Now, it's not reflecting in the numbers yet, but I do think there's a whittling away factor a little bit here too.
I do think the other thing about this is college basketball has a real problem as far as being relevant at any point of the year other than March nationally. I mean, I get it. Like, here it is. We have this hyper engaged, like,
yep.
Big 12 basketball is a huge, but I'm telling you, like, nationally, like, it's not. You can just look at TV numbers. Like, even the best games don't even do like what an NBA game does on ESPN on a Friday night. And a lot of,
You're dead on.
So the problem is, like, if I were to say to you 5 years ago, what's the best thing about college basketball, to like, it would be March Madness and the Thanksgiving week tournaments and stuff. I think most people would say, like, man, Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, I watch Maui, and then I go out with my friends, and like, and I mean, we're kind of just killing off all of that now with this. That's been a real thing. You watch these other tournaments this week, and everything's just so watered down. And then it's like, well, where are all the good teams at? Oh, okay. Well, we don't even know. We don't even understand the format. Like, what does this game actually mean?
Yeah. And then we're gonna expand the tournament to 78 teams.
Yeah, we need more teams.
So,
and again, I think it's actually smart for the Big 12 to invest in this thing.
I agree, especially if Turner wants to go in on it.
Yeah, and that tells me that's tipping off our hand down the road where the Big 12 television rights are probably going to go. And I got that impression too when they came and did that pregame show with us. It just felt like they're going to be doing more and more of this stuff. But the problem here as well, and this impacts a small amount of fans, but like my wife asked me last night on our way back, she goes, because she's like okay with Vegas, but she's not a Vegas person, as you well know. She goes, when do we go to Maui again? I go, I don't know if they'll ever go to Maui again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's just not a lot of people who are like lining up ready to go to Las Vegas for 2 weeks straight. Like, you're gonna have to in the future. I don't know. This is not great.
No, so just a couple numbers here. I'm a good numbers guy.
Full circle. We're back bitching about Vegas again. Okay.
Here we go. No, to go to Maui. So Maui doesn't pay for your travel, I don't believe. So obviously I had to pay to get out there, which is a significant expenditure when you're carrying, taking 20, 25 people to Hawaii for 5 days.
And then plus all the like athletic department people and
yes. So it ends up you're gonna I don't know the exact numbers, but several $100,000 to go out there, as opposed to going to Vegas and getting the $1 million plus all expenses paid. Like, again, I don't know how the Players Era tournament finances work, other than I know there's backing from sources that whatever, good for them. But just to your earlier point, the highest rated college basketball game last year was Creighton versus Villanova DePaul Creighton DePaul Creighton was the highest rated basketball game last year because it was Fox Christmas Day game before the NFL games. And it got 2.9 million people. This is regular season, by the way. Okay, This is not the tournament. 2.9 million people watched. Do you know how many people watched the Iowa State-South Dakota football game on Fox?
Less than 1 million.
No, it's like 3.5 million did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So more people watched the
I
Iowa
forgot
State
about that one. That was a
South
bigger,
Dakota football game than did the highest rated regular season basketball game last year. It just shows how much bigger college football is. And it's hard to kind of comprehend that, but you're right. It's just the way of the world, and TV is going to do what TV does. And I think college basketball does have an issue of making itself relevant.
How many people do you think watch one of those ESPN Plus games against Chicago State?
Oh man, I could find it. I mean,
100,000?
No.
50,000?
Maybe.
Iowa State, Chicago State.
I'd say 40 to 50,000.
Wow. It's staggeringly low, but I get it because the game sucks. It only speaks to like the sickos of the sickos like us, and we are not representative of the majority of games.
If you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, you are not a typical fan as far as TV viewers. So, but when you make yourself a TV product, you're at their mercy there.
And I would also, just thinking out loud, like the old Cyclone Television Network days on Channel 5. Wonder how many people were watching those compared.
Probably about the same. Maybe,
I would
probably
guess way more.
Yeah, probably way more. I guess it was local access. Good point.
I mean, I know like
you're right. You're right.
Scott Docterman did that piece years ago on Iowa and Tom Davis when Raycom, and they had those.
Raycom.
It was like the highest rated local TV in the history of our state. They were getting like 10 million people were watching those games. Like,
the issue is
that many. That's way too many. Their share. I'm trying to think of what the share was. It was some gaudy that would.
It's probably 10 to 20% of the all Iowans.
Yeah, it projected to like what it would be in New York, and it was just like insane number of people who were taking those in.
That's the balance here, though. Is those ESPN Plus games are now nationwide. So if I'm in California, I'm on Cyclone, I can watch it. I could not watch that local access stuff back in the day, and the population of Iowa was only 3 million people.
Yeah,
so
it's a good chunk of people.
Yeah, if you
got a 10 share.
It is interesting just how much college athletics has changed in so many different ways, and yet the loyal fan base remains the same. And I think that's where I keep coming back to it. Iowa State is still at a huge advantage because that fan base has been through everything. It does not need wins to stick around as much as others, and I think it gives Iowa State a huge advantage, even C-Dub, in this coaching search, and obviously Matt Campbell's name still being tossed around for some of these jobs. But the fact that he's got as long a runway as he wants at Iowa State definitely helps. And that fan base remaining loyal and Iowa State kind of letting him run his own show is a good deal. Is a good deal for him.
Well, happy Turkey Day. I'm going to get off because I'm going to be right back on here in about an hour and 45 minutes for pregame with Jake Brind. And then the Cyclones tip off at 12 against the Qs. Jim Boeheim, huh? What year?
Jim Boeheim, year 45. No, he's no longer there. By the way,
I about tweeted that earlier just to screw with people, but I didn't want to deal with all the idiots who didn't get the joke. I was, hey, at least we get to go against Jim Boeheim.
Iowa State has played Syracuse twice. Last meeting was 1990. Iowa State led in points by my favorite player growing up, Victor Alexander, Big Vic, but lost to Billy Owens, Jim Boeheim, and the Orange in Maui, of all places.
There you go.
Of all places.
Blast from the past right there, Blum.
But yeah, on Thanksgiving week, grateful for all of you guys for continuing to listen. Man, this is you guys don't know how much it means to Chris and I to continue to get the support, and even C-Dub, like I put it out last night, but we had a great listener stop by the RV lot and hand us both a handmade glass and gave us a bottle of bourbon and some, just, again, can't thank you guys enough. Super grateful for the Cyclone Nation for keeping at it. Even if sometimes we complain about the world at large, I certainly appreciate all you guys.
It's about the community.
Yeah.
At least that is, I know, for you and me, deep down. We want the Cyclones to win, but it's about, God, can you imagine how many freaking people we've met over the years of doing this? And just, I was hanging out with Just a bunch of guys who we had a little impromptu party at the Irish pub in Mandalay Bay after the game.
Jealous.
It was just so much fun.
Yeah.
My buddy George Wares came over.
Oh, no way. Coach.
Yeah, he hung out with Coach.
Good stuff.
Just good people.
Yeah, so appreciate y'all. We'll keep fighting the good fight, but we're all here for the ride.
Let's go, baby. He is Brent Blum. My name is Chris Williams. We will be back Sunday. Jake and I will be here at 11:30 on the stream. Then after
Beat
the
Reporters is out right now, I believe.
Beat
I think we
Reporters,
just
is
got
that football
out.
focused, I assume?
Yes, it's big picture basketball, mainly football.
Okay.
And also Reaction Time. Big Cyhawk preview
Oh,
will be
yeah,
out
yeah.
later today.
Dresser's got to get that
We
one.
got all sorts of stuff.
Come
People
on,
are
Kevin.
losing it. He's got to beat Iowa. Like, this is a big one on Sunday for wrestling. That'll be awesome to watch. Can't wait to see that. Aiden Wyatt producing as always. My name is Chris Williams for Brent Blum. Let's get after it. Big day ahead. Later.